Hey guys, Mad Scientist 7890 here. I'm going to start off with a new thing I want to do here. Pretty much, I'm calling it the In the Lab series. I'm going to have episodes where I pick one topic and I really just pick it apart. You know, go into detail about it. Really talk about what I think, I think they should do, what booking I think they should do. Just different things. And the one thing that I really am looking at right now that I think is the next step into coming into that attitude era, that or reality era, as CM Punk likes to call it, changing of the tide here with this new regime. The next step for me, and really getting it back to the way it used to be, is rebuilding your tag team division. Now, it was in between that or the cruiserweight division, redoing the cruiserweight division, and I'll get to that later about why I picked tag team over the cruiserweight division. But the first thing I want to talk about is all the changes that they're doing right now with CM Punk. I think it's important that if you're doing all these changes, you have to continue to move forward. You have to continue to keep making changes. You can't just be like, CM Punk, we're going to put this all on your back. We want you alone to rebuild this whole era of fans. We want you to bring them back individually, and I don't think that's going to work. I think they're moving in the right direction with Triple H being the COO supposedly. I think that's a good move for the fans, and I think giving the fans what they want, and I think that's right now a big part of changing things. I feel like Vince is one of those guys who's set in his ways, and I think that if he doesn't like something, he's not going to do it. And I think one of those big things is Zack Ryder. I personally think that Zack Ryder was misused for a while. I think as popular as he was on his YouTube show he had, when something that big is going on, you must capitalize on that popularity, whether or not you like him or not. I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's ethical way or politics or whatever it is that's going on. I think you capitalize on how popular somebody is, whether or not you like them or not, and I think that's just biased. I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but I really think that he should have been used way earlier. But now he's being used, and I think that's good. And I think what they're doing with the women's division now, where they're having the actual women wrestlers, going after the bimbos. I think this was a storyline that they were going to use anyway with Karma. And I think that, with her being pregnant and the stuff that's going on with her, I think it was on a hold. And I think with all the stuff that they're doing with Punk, I think they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait on it. They have to do it now. And I think that it's a perfect time, and it's going to actually make me care about what's happening in the women's division. I don't really care about the women's matches that much, but it makes me slightly care about Beth Phoenix versus Kelly Kelly at SummerSlam. And I know personally it's not going to be a great match. I know it's not going to be that great at all, but it's going to be interesting, and I'm going to want to see what's going to happen. And that's the biggest thing right now. Is if you're not going to provide us with quality and match quality, you have to provide me personally in something that interests, an interesting storyline or something to do with this women's division. And I wholeheartedly believe that this would, at least right now, is going to try and bring back this women's division and try to give us something worth seeing. Now, that ties all into what's going on. Now, with all that stuff that's happening, it got me thinking, and I was like, well, this tag team division, man, it's pretty weak, man. That to me is the next step in rebuilding what it used to be. Now I'm gonna get to why I picked this over the cruiserweight division, basically. I feel like WWE has a lot of people right now, a lot of wrestlers on their roster that are kind of just sitting on their hands. Just being used on and superstars and really just not doing much of anything. I think you can take some of these guys and just put them together, and I think that would actually work. I think sometimes they do bad judgment by putting guys together that just won't work together at all well. I think Vladimir Kozlov and Santino was a funny concept, but I really never saw them as being anything worth a damn to me. In the ring quality, I think both guys are decent talents, but I just never saw them being tag team champions, and they were. Same thing with David Otunga and McGillicuddy. I just don't see them either. One team I do feel like they're underutilized that I think just hasn't got a chance to really shine and do too much is Jimmy and Jey Uso, the Usos. I think they're a lot more talented than people give them credit for, and I think they could be, something in the future that could be worth seeing if they can really develop some popularity and a fan base and really get some people behind them. But my big thing is with WWE for the last couple of years is trying to put guys together that don't work together, makeshift tag teams. Miz and Morrison were one of those teams that I think worked well together, but at the time there really wasn't just too many other tag teams just doing much of anything. And I think that you can't just be one tag team by yourself. And I think that's how it was with them for a long time. And I think that just being the best tag team in WWE when there is no tag team division, you're just kind of like, playing checkers with yourself. You win every time. That's pretty much how I viewed Miz and Morrison. There was really no other tag team that's, to me personally, stood up. But I started looking through. I've been through the roster numerous times, and I thought I was trying to think of guys you could put together that are just doing not much of anything. You could really do something with this tag team division. And to one of the teams that I came up with that I think that would work really well and captivate an audience and really make people care about WWE's tag team division. And I think you could put Kofi Kingston with Justin Gabriel. I think that would work perfectly for mainstream now, what people would like. I think that fans would love the high-flying action, the things that they do. And you also got to look at the connection of both guys being from Africa. Put them together, give them some, African Express or, some kind of name, Just give them something, give them ring gear that matches, make them a tag team. Make them, like it was where they had matching gear and they were an actual tag team. I think that would really work with those two guys. Another team, I thought about before Riley turned heel would have been, Alex Riley and Jack Swagger. I think that really would have worked well together. They could have been, the varsity villains and, been the bullies from, high school, the jocks, the guys. I think that they would get just extreme, heat. You put those two guys, those two, four guys, as a tag team, and you put them together. You let them have matches. You have the Kofi and Gabriel be the faces, and you have the other ones be, the heels, and you put them in tag team matches, and you just have them, have a rivalry, and I think that would really work, and I think fans would get behind it. There's a lot of other people you could put together who are just doing, not much of anything, and really give them a chance to shine for the tag team division, in my personal opinion. Another team that I plan on seeing here very soon in the future, Seth Rollins and Richie Steamboat from FCW, I think is, if they don't decide, to split them up, I think they would come in and be a tag team, and I think it would really work. And I think that would work out really well. I think one thing that they didn't capitalize on was really making people believe also about legacy, about Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase being a tag team. I think that could have worked well doing the Fortunate Sons gimmick, or having Brett DiBiase be with Ted and doing that, or having McGillicuddy be with them and have a faction and just to have tag teams out of that. I think that would have worked well too, and I think they would have got a lot of heat as well on that. But the main thing that I'm really looking into right now, personally, I really think that to spark this tag team division, and this is me wholeheartedly, sign the Kings of Wrestling from Ring of Honor. I think that would be something that would be very special, not only for me, but for a lot of fans. I think it would just blow up. But I don't think you can just sign the Kings and just say, okay, let's put the Kings in there and let's have them face these two guys who don't make any sense. You gotta have, you can't have, because no one's gonna believe the Kings. They're gonna lose to Santino and Kozlov. I just really I would not see that. And to me personally, it just would not come over well. I think you really have to work on rebuilding this tag division. I really think you've got to go back to the way it was in the early 2000s. You've got to look at the rivalries that were going on at that time in the tag team division. You really cared about the tag team division. You know, the tag team division was secondary to, you know, the world title and all that. WWF at the time, world title. But the match quality, and people were like, well, you know, you ask them what matches you want to see at the next pay-per-view. And a lot of people will be like, well, you know, SummerSlam, you know, I'm looking forward to that triple ladder match, but you know, that's you know, that's not a main event. But that's tag team wrestling right there. That's when it was at the height, and I believe that's where fans want it to be now, and you really have to want it. And I think right now they're in a giving mood, and I think fans really have to want WWE's tag team division to be good again. You know, have you guys, you know, leave some comments, subscribe, do whatever you guys want to do. You know, send me some comments. Tell me what you think. If you have any ideas for tag teams, putting guys together. You know, WWE signing anybody maybe. You know, coming up with gimmicks for two guys. You know, possibly just whatever you think would work. You know, and I'll get back to you, and you know, we'll, you know, come up with ideas and stuff like that, and we'll see how it works. And you know, thanks guys. Like I said, subscribe. And this is my first edition of In the Lab. Let me know how it worked, and let me know how it was good. If it sucked, and if it sucked, then I'll still continue to do it. And it's just too bad, I guess. So thanks, and please subscribe.